After going through a tough time in the modeling industry, Adele Clark intended to start things anew. She wanted to forget everything she had done from the moment she came to the city and start from scratch, and take herself to the top all by herself. It was a long time ago that she had learned about this small photography studio when she first came to California. She had overlooked it at first, but now it seemed like the perfect place where she could go to get some pictures taken for her new portfolio. Thomas Efron, a new photographer, was sitting in his office at his photo studio looking through some files of his previous work. Photography was his passion, and it had been so for about a year since he had been running the studio. He didn't have many customers yet, and business was rather slow. But he knew once his work would be out there, actors, actresses, models, and even ordinary people would come flocking here to get their pictures taken by him. Thomas had been fiddling with his camera for a while when the receptionist peered through his door. "There's a young woman here who wants to get her modeling portfolio done. Should I send her in?" "Okay, tell her to come inside and prepare herself. I'll get the lighting set up." Thomas looked out the hallway into the waiting area. He spotted a young woman sitting in the chair, tapping her feet nervously. He tried to get a glimpse of her face. She was quite an attractive woman, but there was something about her. She looked anxious and worried. Thomas started to get the studio ready. Through the corner of his eye, he saw the young woman enter the room and take a seat on the stool. She was different from all the other girls he worked with. "She's perfect, the one I've been searching for." She was awfully quiet. There was something about her eyes that Thomas just couldn't point out. "What's your name? Where are you from?" "Adele Clark. I'm actually new to the city. I'm from Arizona." "Looks like you've had a tough day. If there's one thing I've become an expert on is reading faces. What's wrong? We can't expect beautiful pictures without a smile." "Sometimes it's just hard to smile, but they make you do it all the time. Isn't that how it is in this industry? So, have you gotten accepted anywhere yet?" "That's a long story. I came here about a year back, and I started auditioning at various modeling agencies. However, I wasn't really receiving any replies. I started to lose hope, and at the same time I started running low on my savings. I don't really know anyone here, and I didn't have any friends either, but I still kept hope that I'd get noticed by one of the agencies sooner or later. It was a week into working a part-time job at a cafe that I received a call from Mark Davis, one of the many talent agents I mailed. He told me he knew a lot of people in the fashion industry, and there was someone he could introduce me to. The man was a really good director. He had published many magazines and worked with numerous talented people. "What's his name?" "Anton Kelly." I haven't heard of him." "Alright, why don't you give me a smile and let's get started." Thomas looked into his camera and tried to adjust the lens. "What's wrong with this thing?" "I'm sorry, Adele, this might take some time. I can't seem to focus on you." Adele quietly sat there fiddling with her fingers. "So you're trying to make a portfolio for this new director?" "Well, when Mark took me to him, he was quite rude to me. He insulted me and told me I wouldn't be able to get anywhere with no experience. Quite snobby if you tell me, but he's got a point. You do need experience, but I'd love to work with a face like yours. There's just something about you." That's what Mark told me. Upon my first rejection, I was heartbroken. If it weren't for Mark, I would have gone back to Arizona. He told me not to give up on my dreams and that he could arrange me a second meeting with Anton. I kept my hope in him and followed each and every tip and advice he gave me. I spoke to a few of his other clients and some models that were working at the Kelly studio. But at the same time, all of them started to scare me away from the field. They said things like I wouldn't be able to handle it, or that there were a lot of things models needed to give up to work with Anton. They're not wrong, dear. The modeling industry can be tough. Not only do you have to keep your boss pleased with you like you would anywhere you work, but you have a whole lot of competition to deal with. Competition, you got that right. Mark got me my first project at the Kelly studio a week later. Once I started working there, I realized it was tough exactly for that reason. Anton praised me, unlike how he initially treated me, but it seemed that the other women didn't really like me, as they sensed that Anton had plans on making me the cover of the magazine he was publishing next. I was happy that I was finally building a career, but I didn't like how close Anton tried to be with me. He was always invading my space and taking many personal choices from me that I didn't appreciate. Well, you don't have to work with him if you're not comfortable. But of course, to work in this industry, you have to make some compromises. I thought I would just bear through it till my name would be out there. He was right that I didn't have any experience, and at the moment that's really all I wanted. It was, however, oddly surprising how things were working out so smoothly for me all of a sudden. It was one night that I got a call from Mark saying Anton would let me know where my next photo shoot would be. And like he said, Anton arranged an appointment for me, but it was at his house. I wasn't comfortable in going to my boss's house, but when I spoke to some of the other models, they told me he had a joint office there and only his best models went there to shoot. They all said they knew him. Some of them had gotten the job through him. I was still uncomfortable, so I asked Mark to go there with me. The day I went to Anton's house, he called me into his study. But at that point, I started to feel like he didn't call me there for anything even closely related to work. Oh no, I feel like I've heard this story before. Don't tell me you listened to him. I didn't. He beckoned me to have a few sips with him, so I could relax for the photo shoot. He then started speaking to me about my career and how he planned to make me his top model. He thought I wouldn't be able to pull it off at first, but when he took a look at me, he saw something in my eyes. I agree, so he noticed it too. There is something different about you. But he didn't call me there because of my talent. It was too late by the time I realized Anton had slipped something in my drink. I couldn't move, and my head spun tremendously. All of this was a trap, and all I wished for was for Mark to come to my rescue. He was the only person who knew where I was and who I was with. Everything started to black out, and the last thing I remember seeing was Anton advancing towards me. I don't know how long I was out or what happened while I was in that state. But when I started to regain consciousness, I realized I was in Anton's personal room, but there was someone else there. I wanted to call out for help until I heard his voice. Everything is in cash, right? The whole amount. Let me know when you're looking for another star. Check out these new portfolios. I've got a bunch of aspiring models saved right here. It was all a scam. I don't know if these people will ever get caught, but I'm not going to let them ruin my career. Have you reported this man to the police? No. Have you gone mad? You have to report them to the police. Thomas finally got the camera to work and clicked a shot. Finally. Don't worry, Adele. You've come to a better place for sure. But it seems like you have a lot of sorting out to do. Staying quiet isn't the solution, Thomas said as he waited for the photo to print out. Thank you. I needed to speak to someone I could trust. The camera suddenly started to hang up again. Just give me one moment. I'll try to get this thing fixed. I don't know why everything is acting up today. Thomas refilled the Polaroid camera. At once, the picture slid out. He took it off and shone it in the light blowing at it. As it became clearer, Thomas furrowed his brows and just stared at it. There on the stool, there was no one there. The studio was empty. Thomas turned to look at the young woman, Adele, but to his bewilderment, he was all alone in the room. He hurried to the reception and asked his receptionist where the girl had gone. I don't know, I didn't see her leave. Get her contact information out. I need her number. Okay, the receptionist said, opening up her register book. Strange. Where is it? I saw her write her name down, but it's empty in here. How can that be? Have I hired you to be so careless? Thomas got a strange feeling about what had just happened. He didn't know what to do but to search up the Kelly studio and get the woman's information from there. Adele Clark, she hasn't come to the studio in days. I think she doesn't work here anymore. And Anton Kelly? Excuse me, who is this? Thomas remembered all that Adele had told him. He couldn't help himself but to call the police and inform them of the missing woman. But just as he was about to pick up the phone, a news headline caught his attention. Anton Kelly, the producer and director of the Kelly studio, was found lifeless in his own house. His demise was caused from numerous knife wounds through his back. Police were bewildered to find one of his models in a dreadful condition inside his room as well. Investigation has led the police to believe Anton Kelly had attempted to take advantage of the aspiring model when she fought back to defend herself. Many other women are now coming forward to share their stories of horror from years of working with Anton Kelly. Isn't that the woman that came today? It is, but how can she be dead? I promise, I'll give my best. This has been a dream for so long. Don't worry, I know a lot of people in the industry. They would love to work with you. Click on the subscribe button and check out more awesome videos on our channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon because you know it's interesting.